Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Ola, and if you're new here, I'm a hobby ceramicist, and I use this channel to document my journey. This video is it's actually a lot a bit different. I think I would categorize this more as like a life log or a journal, because I've been reflecting a ton this month, and I had a couple of thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys or just like have documented on the channel. Both of these thoughts sort of flow into each other, so I'm going to do my best to like articulate them separately, but I feel like they're really important for this day and age. The first thing that I've been reflecting on is just how we're getting away from ownership, or we're getting away from the ability to own something, because companies or industries are moving more into like the license or streaming kind of model, where it's like instead of paying, to own an item, you're actually paying for the license to use that item. We see that a lot in like cars and music and movies. It's like, not that it will happen, but let's say that like Amazon Prime goes down, all the movies that you bought or rented will no longer be accessible to you. You may not even own them. It's the same for music, with like Spotify. That's the main streaming or music streaming app that I use. Is like I pay monthly to listen to or have access to as much music as I want, but I don't actually own any of those, albums or pieces of work. And so basically, the thought that I had is like, it's important to own physical things, whether it be art or music or your favorite movie. Something that I'm noticing that's like affecting the car industry a ton is like what they call like right to repair laws. They may not allow some of the smaller mechanic shops to own like your code reading or code scanning or error scanning tools that they need to fix your vehicle. I think we've seen a lot with like, there's a whole bunch of really cool electronics and features in new cars, but because of that, they can sort of lock those things down or like prevent you from fixing it yourself. You probably have to go to the dealership or buy something from the dealership shop, and that could take months. And they could like void your warranty and things like that. And like, honestly, I'm not the biggest car person, but I do see an issue with that. It's like, you used to be able to sort of fix anything. And because of both the quality of things declining and the ownership of an item or something sort of being slowly stripped away from you, it's like it makes it really hard for you to repair things. Yeah, I think having physical items is going to be important, because we might see ourselves in the next couple decades unable to own things. The next thing that I was thinking about is just about how important it is to enjoy what's going on today, enjoy, events, enjoy your community, enjoy your local or favorite stores, even if they're not local. Enjoy the music that's coming out today and the art that's coming out today. One thing that I think about is like, it's important to actually follow the trends of today, even if they are, corny or like weird. It's not like, oh, you have to participate in them or anything, but like understand what's going on during your, you know, decade, basically. I think it's really interesting. I think we're like really obsessed with vintage and history, and I think there's a lot to understand and learn from, and respect about history. I mean, how can you reimagine or create a cooler, better, more advantageous future if you don't understand where you've come from, or you don't understand what has worked, or if you don't understand what hasn't worked, things like that. Be it like interpersonally, clothing, comfort, ease. There's a lot to learn from the past, but I think that the more that we focus on that, and the more that we focus on elevating that, the less that we enable ourselves to create from that, the less or the more blinders that we put on ourselves, because there are people today that are doing just as important work. There are people today that are putting out quality things and having novel thoughts. I think it's an interesting thing. It's like, oh, there's no new thought, there's no new creation. Everything's a reproduction. And I think that's a really unfortunate way that we've underestimated and underinvested in what's going on currently, and the people who are creating currently and creating new thoughts and creating art that makes you feel and music that makes you understand and books that give you a whole new world to, or a whole new lens to look at the world. So yeah, I think it's important to think about today. A really cool quote that I think I either read it or saw it on YouTube or someone told me is like, what today would be a classic tomorrow? So like, what music are you listening to? What quality clothes do you really love? So I think like Carhartt workwear has like popped back up because it's like a trustworthy brand. But there are lots of new brands that are coming out today with really quality clothes, with really cool design concepts that I think we'll appreciate. The quality of IKEA has gone down, but it's like really cool to see someone like, oh, I have this '05 lava lamp from IKEA and it still works today. And it's like, okay, well, what new sort of cool lamp is coming out from IKEA today? It's probably not great of quality, but honestly, it's like if you take care of these things, they can last. And then another thought sort of along those lines is about quality is, yes, we've seen quality decline. We've seen like the customer focus or the interpersonal focus change over or decline over the last, 2 decades. But there are still a lot of quality things out there, quality books, not just trendy, light, feel good books, but really introspective books that help us either improve on what's going on today, bring light to what's going on today, or reimagine a new future. Really cool stuff coming out in literature, really cool quality stuff coming out in clothing. There are a couple of brands that I really like. Even in the brands whose quality has declined over the last couple of years or couple of decades, you can see that they'll still come out with a quality product or two. Again, going back to even if it's not top of the notch, best quality, if you take care of them, they can last. There's a lot of really awesome music that's coming out. I think one of the artists that I listened to today, Kendrick Lamar, he's like the first and only Pulitzer Prize winning rapper. Like, what? And so it's like, let's look into that. Let's, understand what's going on there. Let's listen to that. Let's bring that to light into our understanding so that we can sort of be a part of what's going on today and understand what's going on today so that we can witness today, things like that. So with those two thoughts said, I actually wanted to share a couple of things, or actually several things. This next half of the video, I'm mostly going to be talking about what I enjoyed today, what I'm witnessing today, what I'm loving today, what I really want to have physical items or products of. That's basically what I'll be talking about. So surprisingly, the first thing that I want to talk about is cars. I actually own 3 cars, well technically 4, but I own a Ford Escape. That was my first car that I ever owned out of college. I got a 1989 Mercedes 300 SE for like $300. Basically somebody had used it as a derby car and it's pretty much a beater and it really needs to go to the junkyard. But I actually got that car with a friend who helped me appreciate some of what was going on in the past. And basically like the engine bay is massive, so there's a lot of space to work in it and learn about cars. So that's how I really learned about cars, is through that 89 Mercedes. And then I bought a 1983 Mercedes 240D, and that gave me an appreciation for older things. It's funny, it like smells old. That's been through a lot. I think that was like someone's high school car, and they took that. I think they actually traded it for like a motorcycle before they got it. So yeah, that had been through quite a bit, but I love it. I love the quality of the stuff. It's timeless. It's still a classic when you look at it today. It's really cool driving down the road. And then another car that I own that I got for like $1,500 was a 2005 a 2005 Ford F-150. So that truck only goes in reverse, and I'm actually really looking forward to doing the transmission swap in that truck. But basically, those are like the quality cars that I'm like tinkering on currently. Now that I've like learned about cars and learned what to look for, I've got my car of my decade to sort of tinker on and work on and hopefully make last. A couple of books that I've read since 2020 that I really love. I mean, wow, I want to make sure that I get the hardback copy of all these books because I listen to most of them. And so I want to get the hardback copy so I can like create a library. And then I want to get the paperback version so I can reread some of these books and start to annotate them and, you know, recollect them and take down notes. Unfortunately, I can't read them for the first time, but I'll still have thoughts about them. They're still going to make me probably feel and see the same way and reveal new feelings and reveal new thoughts to me. So I'm excited about some of these books. I've got The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin. Beautiful book. Okay, so I actually had to pull out my borrowed list just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. But another James Baldwin book, there's A Fire Next Time and Go Tell It on the Mountain. Both of those were awesome books. I love them. And in addition to those, this is actually probably my favorite book, is Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. Highly recommend those books. I think she actually had another book that was really popular, but I didn't get a chance to pick that one up. But Homegoing was probably my first sweeping epic of a book that went across several decades, if not centuries. So deeply, deeply love that book and have a lot of love. That is definitely my favorite book. I've got The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, quite the adventurous book. It's like I can't even say it's a feel good book. It's a feel everything book. That was really cool. I have this duology. It's called She Who Became the Sun and He Who Drowned the World. Epic sweeping book. Those were both 25-hour listens, I think, and I listened to one the year before the new book came out, and then I listened to them both when the new book came out in 1 week. It was kind of insane. I loved those books. Those were the first couple of books that like got me into fantasy, and so I really love that. And then I have the Poppy War trilogy by R.F. Kuang. That was the Poppy Wars, the Burning God, and the Dragon Republic, or maybe switch the last two, but another sweeping epic trilogy. It's like sort of Asian history, like historical fiction, but it's mostly like fantastical fiction. Really cool. Love that book, or love those three books in that trilogy. Then I had Circe and Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, another two epic sweeping books. I'm really not into Greek mythology, but her storytelling is amazing. Then a book I recently read called Dead End Memories by Banana Yoshimoto. That's actually a collection of short stories, and I think I'm enjoying Japanese writing because it's really introspective. It's like both self-important and not at the same time, and so there's like a lot of lessons you can learn from in those books through those characters. So yeah, I love those books. Another book that I really loved was Secret Life, or The Secret Lives of Church Ladies by Disha Philyaw. Another collection of short stories. I love it. It's just, you know, it sort of speaks to the humanity of women. It speaks to both the excitement and the regular modalities of life across, you know, different women's stories. Another book that I really loved, and I'm actually excited to read his new book that's coming out in 2025, is Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. It is about a father who is basically writing to his son. He has a terminal illness, so he's writing to his son about, his life story and kind of why he is the way that he is. And so I'm excited because the sequel to this book, Isaac's Song, is actually, I think, the son's response to those letters. So I'm excited to read that in 2025. Another book I really loved was Tambourines to Glory. It was just a exciting, funny book by Langston Hughes. Again, one of those things that reveals the humanity of people. It has, some heavy themes in there, but ultimately we're all humans on the surface, and we've all got things that we're trying to do and accomplish. So love that book by Langston Hughes. And then a couple of books that I read this year. I think this is actually my second favorite book just because it's really timely and relatable for me as a Black queer person, is Mouths of Rain or it's actually called Mouths of Rain, an anthology of Black lesbian thought by Brianna Simone Jones. So I read that book in a week. It was really timely for me. And it was, I actually think, my first introduction into Black queer writers. I actually haven't read a whole lot of Black women writers in their historical work, and so this was my intro to that, and it gave me quite the foundation to go back and study. So I love that book. That is definitely a favorite. I actually bought that book, or actually I had it as a library book and I accidentally damaged it. I was reading it on the beach, and so I bought it and I have that book, so I was able to annotate it after I told them that I damaged it. And then the last book, it's actually a book that I'm reading currently, but I know that it is a favorite for me. It's called Hours by Philip B. Williams. What a book, another sweeping book. It's about a conjurer that that frees slaves, and then she creates her own town as sort of a haven for them called Hours. And it's about the trials and tribulations of the founder. Her name is Saint, the people in the town, what they go through, how they grow up, what happens when, they're using their powers and things like that is really cool. I'm definitely going to buy that book in hardcover. I'm actually considering buying the book in paperback first while I'm listening to it so that I can annotate it and then see about getting the hardcover book. I think that book actually came out this year. It was one of the most anticipated books of 2024. And so I'm going to see if maybe I'll wait for the hardcover and see if a special edition or collector's edition comes out. Okay, so those are my books. I do want to talk about my favorite artist of the last several years, and I'll just dive right into it. My first favorite artist is Kehlani. She's gotten me through high school and college. I've seen her in concert, I think, twice. So she's my top favorite artist. Then I have Orion Sun, who's been a favorite artist of mine since 2020. I love her energy. I love her voice. I actually love her smile. It's funny. She has a Whitney Houston reminiscent smile. So love her. Another sort of smaller indie artist that I love is Hope Tala. I love her music. It's really relatable. She's a relatable person just by herself. And so I want to make sure that I get physical copies of her CDs. I had a chance to see all three of them on tour, and so I got all three of their concert tees. So yeah. Another artist that I really love is Moses Sumney. I have 2 of his vinyls. I love his voice, and I've not been able to see him in concert, and so that's actually a physical experience that I want to make sure that I have, is seeing him live in concert. Maybe even just if I don't see him in concert, listening to his music while I have friends over so we can enjoy his music and his voice. So that's both a physical experience and an artist that I'm really loving in our day and age. You guys are probably going to get me on this, but I love Kendrick Lamar. I've always loved Kendrick Lamar. I've followed him for quite a long time through mixtapes and albums and features. And so I'm excited to actually have most of his bodies of work, most of his mixtapes and CDs. So moving into art as a ceramic artist, there's probably like more inspiration that I grab from all different kinds of people's work rather than like a favorite artist that I have. And I think because of that, that's kind of a feat to try to name everyone or show everything that's given me inspiration. But I will just say that my home community studio, based out of my hometown, maybe I shouldn't say that, but based out of the town that I live in now, has provided me an amazing experience. It's allowed me to like learn and study and grow and connect through ceramics, both to the people and the work itself. So I love, you know, this tactile art, this connecting art, this community art that is ceramics. So I definitely want to hold on to that for as long as I can. So moving from art to clothing, and I'll try to get through this pretty quickly as well, is there are lots of, you know, long-lasting quality brands out there that have been out there for a while. You guys probably know them. But a couple of newer companies that have come out during our day and age that I want to make sure that I get a piece of and sort of that I'm a part of it while it's, you know, at its inception and growing. The first thing that I want to mention, or the first company that I want to mention, is Gymshark. They're actually like an athletic wear company that started during our time, and you know have taken the world by storm. You know, they compete with the Nikes and the Adidas and Filas. They are that big. I think they were based out of the UK, but they have created quality stuff. They've really gotten like the marketing part down early on, so they have like a lot of athletes and stuff that they use to market their product. So just a great brand, and I want to make sure I snag a piece, maybe one of their more quality pieces, something that fits me and my personality, maybe going into 2025. Another company that I really like is a black-owned athletic wear company called Anaka Power. They're based out of Texas. And I've just loved some of the graphic stuff that they've come out with, like the graphic tees. And so I grabbed like 6 of them over the span of like 2 years. But I know that they're sort of moving into a different style of clothing and stuff. And so I'm excited to see where that goes. I think they're also expanding into the UK or into the EU. So yeah, we'll see where that brand goes. There are so many smaller quality brands that I really love, like Unfinished Legacy out of Milwaukee, the Brooklyn Circus out of Brooklyn, New York, Lawrence and Larimer out of Denver, Colorado. I love those brands. Truly quality wear coming out of that. They all have their own personalities. Lawrence and Larimer has like a varsity look. Unfinished Legacy has like the more graphic streetwear look. The Brooklyn Circus has definitely a more like elevated fashion, classic, timeless look to them. And I absolutely love those companies. I'm excited to like own a piece now because I know in 15 years I'm probably going to be still buying from them and still appreciating the pieces that I'm wearing today. And then last is a designer that I've been following for quite a while. I actually followed him when I was like looking at just menswear in general, and that's Devin on Deck. He's taken a lot of inspiration from Japanese culture and Japanese fashion, and so he is mixing that culture and that inspiration into his classic silhouettes, classic American silhouettes. And so I've got a couple of pieces from him. I think I have a couple of Naragis from him, but I'm excited to see what he comes out with next. So I've been talking for a while, so I'm actually going to end this video here, but I just wanted to leave you guys with those couple of thoughts. Is enjoy today, be aware of what's going on today, witness today, cherish today, whether that's, you know, with items or experiences or places and settings. Enjoy them. Enjoy your coffee shop, enjoy your favorite book, enjoy your favorite movie, look for art that's out there, go to a play, just enjoy that. And then in that, if you truly enjoy it, if you see that it resonates with you, try to get something physical out of that, whether it's just being physically in that space, buying that physical item, or, connecting physically with that person, item, or experience. So thank you guys for listening to my thoughts and rambles today, and I'll see you in the next video.